A lot of the players do like 1v1s, one-on-one sessions, sorry. So like in their personal time, they do one-on-one sessions rather than being in a group. One thing for me was shooting from kickoff.
Shooting from kickoff?
Yeah, I just didn't. It's a new thing for me. A lot of them.
Hola, and welcome to Cerita. Gue Calvin, dan hari ini gue kedatangan bintang tamu spesial jauh-jauh dari England. Here it is, Coach Thomas. How are you?
Hey, coach yourself?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, so how's your experience in Indonesia?
Yeah, it's been really good. Both football-wise and also personal-wise as well. The guys from Medio Sports have really looked after us. And then football-wise, yeah, the kids have been really good for us as well. So very, very respectful.
That's good.
Yeah, very good welcome as well.
How long have you been in Indonesia?
A week now, so fly home tomorrow. We've been here.
I see.
Got here.
So how's your experience in Indonesia?
Yeah, so we've done quite a lot to cram into a week. We've done quite a lot. We've been seeing the new stadium. The international stadium that was built not long ago. We've done a lot of food, Indonesian food.
How's the food?
Good. I've realised you like a lot of rice for breakfast as well, which is not usual to England, but it's something different and it's a new experience, which is really, really good. Yeah.
It's very good to hear. Okay, so we're approaching the first section there. Okay, I want to ask a bit about yourself. What made you become a coach in the first place?
So, well, I wasn't really very good at playing football.
Really?
Yeah, so my idea of football for me was my head knew what I wanted to do, but my body and my feet wouldn't do it. So I think about the age of 15, I started to look at the coaching side of it. We're still playing a little bit. And then I went to college, called a local college in Liverpool, where I'd done football studies. So yeah, it was a lot of playing football. So we were still playing football, but also I sort of took upon more of the coaching side of it. So we got our FA level 1 from that. So that was my kick-off for my career. Yeah, but while I was doing that, I was also coaching on a Saturday morning, like young little kids, like what we did on the camp here as well. From about 5 to about 10. So about 5 to 10 year olds.
5 to 10 year olds.
Kids, just coaching them, making sure they obviously enjoyed the football and sort of got the development that they needed, really. So that's how I started off.
Okay.
And then, yeah, here I am now.
Okay, how old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
27.
27, so you've been doing this for like 11 years, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
On and off because of my full-time job as well. So yeah, on and off.
Okay, I see. I mean, what is your wish as a football coach? Do you wish your players that you train to become like a professional players, or?
First of all, my wish is to get a full-time coaching job, and then from there, develop players as you go along, to see a player of mine reach a top level, whether that is in England or whether it's abroad. Yeah, it'd be a bit of it'd be very, really, really nice to sort of see the player that I coached reach one of the highest levels. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now let's talk about your experience in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So, how does your experience training those little kids in Indonesia came about? Yeah.
So to start off, it was quite slow. The players started off quite slow at the start of the week. I think maybe they were a bit shy coming out because they were quite shy around the coaches as well, and not understanding us is probably a big factor for it, really.
The language barrier.
Yeah. The language barrier is really big, but I think most coaches will say football's continental. You know, you can, if you can't speak something, you can use your hands and things like that, and yeah, you get a lot of communication that way. So that was one thing that I had that I used this week to try and get kids out of that, and a lot of demonstrations as well. Sometimes in England we don't use demonstrations as much, or we'll ask the kids to do them for us. Whereas in here, it was pretty much we had to sort of show them to get any sort of result from them, really.
Okay. Could you please tell us a bit more about the camp? I mean, do you have like memorable experience or memorable memories or successful stories that you can share to us?
From the camp just gone, for me, the development, you could see some of the players from the start coming out of the shell. I think maybe not development with football wise, because they're quite technically good anyway, like with the feet. However, communication, a lot of them to start off with, what they said before, were quite shy, and towards the end of the week you could see them really getting into it. Even the older group, when we're trying to gear them up for the start of the session, they were what I called them the boring group at the start, because they wouldn't communicate, or they just sit there in the corner and just say nothing. But towards the end, they come out of the shell, and they started to get involved a little bit more. I think for me, the football, getting into the games at the end was really good, because they gave them that chance to show what the skills we've learned all week, and you could see the skills that they've learned during the week come out in the games, which is really good for not only us as a coach, but for the development of the players as well, really.
Oh, that's very fantastic to hear. Speaking of like the techniques of the players, so you're basically saying that the techniques of Indonesian players are basically very good at such a young age, right? Then what is the main problem why Indonesian players, they tend to fail at the highest level?
I'm no expert, so I couldn't say the truth. But from what we see this week, I think a lot of, and speaking not only to the players but a lot of parents as well, a lot of the players do like 1v1s, one-on-one sessions. Sorry, so like in their personal time, they do one-on-one sessions rather than being in a group. So you can see that come out in the game. They will try and take 4 or 5 players on rather than pass the ball to a teammate. Ooh. So yeah, they're really good technically with the ball. They can take on players and, you know, get past 1 or 2. But then when they're trying to take on 4 or 5, as you say, sometimes it's easier to pass than try and take on the world. Yeah. So I think just maybe thinking about that, not only for the players but the coaches in Indonesia as well, to sort of try and get them, encourage them to pass. And then and one thing for me was shooting from kickoff.
Shooting from kickoff.
I just didn't. It's a new thing for me. A lot of them. Yeah, it was a pass back, straight shoot. A lot of the balls went over.
Wow,
we lost a lot of balls to the pitch. But yeah, I think that was one thing for me that not frustrated me, but was just a bit overwhelming, and I put a rule on straight away to say no more. So that's it. I think stop doing that. But yeah,
I think they're watching a lot of Beckham or Rooney, you know.
maybe Rooney from against West Ham. They're watching that, but unfortunately, no one's Rooney, and that wasn't from kickoff either. That was from just normal play. It was a act of class, wasn't it, from Rooney? So
yeah. So what do you think about the Indonesian players? How do they differ, the kids from England?
Again, I think English players learning now to sort of, from our philosophy, to sort of play off from the back, getting that ball rolling time, things like that. I think, as I said, then the Indonesian players will try and carry the ball, and maybe that's because the way the coach is 1v1s rather than as a team more than anything else.
Even defenders?
Defenders, I've seen a lot of the players, whereas in England, when you're kids, they try and stay up front, so they'll stand by the goal. Whereas in Indonesia, in Indonesia, the players were starting from the back, so a lot of them were standing around their own goal. So maybe they'll be better defenders in the future because of that. But yeah, I think we need to encourage kids to play out from the back. I think one session that I had with the younger kids, so the 8-year-old to 12, I think it was, or 10. At one point they were just kicking the ball, and I said to them, I made the striking team go back so that they could play out, and to try and encourage them to play out. Yeah, and even the older players as well. Some of the older players still now will try and go long or rush. A lot of the keepers will rush and passes, and I think that's one thing that just mindful of it more than anything. That if they slow things down rather than rushing things, trying to get the goal, especially from a goalkeeper position in a defensive,
calm, right?
Defensive, just calm down, relax, and move the ball a little bit nicer in a way. Yeah, it's like 1-2 touch passes and and try and get the ball forward.
I see. So how did it eventually turn out at the end of the camp?
I think most of the coaches, myself, Dom and Jamie, we all seen it develop. So I think the baby group for me was, I started doing that on the third day, and on the fourth day in the games, I could see it a little bit coming out where the players weren't all crowding around the goalkeeper. They were trying to find that space that they needed to. So you could see it a little bit coming out, and hopefully now they just sort of take that into back into the clubs or the academies, wherever they are. They take that back into there and keep developing it, really.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to see. So you come back next year.
Okay, we're gonna make one next year.
Hopefully, yeah. It's been really good. So
okay, thank you so much.
Just be to
Candy.
get me and see what he says. But
Okay. So we're approaching the last section of this podcast. So for the last question, do you have like any advice for the younger kids who aspire to become like a professional players in the future?
hard work, really hard work. I think doesn't happen overnight. Even if it's just 5 minutes with a ball each day, just getting your touches in, keeping the ball nice and close, getting your shots off, little things like that. Just 5 minutes a day, work hard, and I think progressively it'll come. But also, again, the one, I know I said before, the one-on-one sessions aren't that great to develop you need a team player. However, one-on-one sessions are good to develop little things within a player. So if you're going to do a 5 minute session yourself, go and do a 45-minute session with a coach. But don't rely on that. Try and get team games as well. Try and get training within a team and things like that as well. So yeah, but other than that, hard work. Hopefully it'll pay off. Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't stop. Just keep working.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. Fantastic. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much,
Coach. Okay, so that's the last episode for today, and thank you, and see you on the next episode.